Good morning, Brian Good here. Here's the latest edition of Storm Talk. Again, our main focus for today's update is going to be on tomorrow's setup. And hopefully, once we get past that, then we'll get back into the early alert for the longer term ideas that will be coming our way. And that's important because we have something very important to be tracking. And of course, is Kentucky's darkest day, the total solar eclipse. Here's today's eclipse fact of the day. The eclipse date of August 21st lines up with an alleged 1955 alien encounter at near the exact location, just yards away from the GPS coordinates for the greatest point of eclipse. Just yards away is where the alien encounter took place on that same date, August 21st. Now, every year they have a festival to celebrate the alien encounter, if you will, in Hopkinsville. And they are going to be really excited this year for it. I'm sure there's going to be interesting costumes. I got a chance to interview one of the descendants of the family about 4 years ago when I was down there and talking about the eclipse. So you can actually hear her story, and you can actually watch a reenactment that was produced, because it's the second most infamous alien encounter in history, second to Roswell. And it's on Wave3.com. Just click on the news section and go to Darkest Day, and you'll be able to see all the videos there, but look for the alien one. It should stand out to you. Don't forget, too, we're going to be at the Kentucky State Fair on the 19th. That Saturday, just a couple of days before the eclipse, at the South Wing, we'll be giving out a lot of those solar glasses. Very important to have those. You cannot look at the sun. For your own safety, don't look at the sun without protective eyewear. Sunglasses are not protective eyewear for an eclipse. All right? They won't work. You got to have certified kind of glasses. So heads up on that. Hope to see you at the fair. All right, weather-wise. Well, let's talk about the setup here. Today, relatively quiet. We'll get to that in a second. But here are the outlooks from Storm Prediction Center for today. The slight risk to our northwest, areas of Iowa and Illinois. Notice a little bowing out here of the marginal. That is for later tonight, as some of the activity will dive to the southeast. But notice yesterday had all the way to Louisville. Now it stops near the Wabash. Some of that's timing. Some of it's the idea that a lot of the activity may end up staying a little bit more to the north. So not a big ordeal for the next, I would say, really 24 hours. Not a huge deal. Tomorrow itself, the entire state of Kentucky in the slight risk level, or level 2 out of 5. Southern Indiana, most of it under the risk as well. So all of Wave Country is now in the map area for slight risk. And then as we head into Friday, all that begins to move to the south. So let's break it down for you. First off, now, we do have some of these clouds begin to pop ahead of the warm front that's moving in from the southern part of Kentucky. In fact, it's moving through portions of western Kentucky at the moment. So we got an increase in cloud cover now. Small little shower reacting on the other side of the front, where you're getting the humidity begin to build back in. So it's hours away, guys. The humidity is going to move back in. So get ready for it. Those 70-degree dew points are coming back. Here's a wider view of the setup. Of course, we don't have a full satellite image because the sun just came up not too long ago. But you can definitely tell where the warm front is, right in through here. And again, it'll take it to about, I would say, 12, 1 o'clock, and it should move through Louisville, and then we'll begin to get a south wind into the area. Now, what I've been looking at to determine how things are going to play out for us, not only the wind, you see the winds there to the south. That's the reason why I have a good idea where the front is. Okay, what I've been trying to do is figure out which way to go with this scenario for tomorrow. Because if you look carefully, there's an MCV right here, a little spin, mesoscale vortex, convection vortex, I'll get it right, that is spinning about, little small area of low pressure. It's located on the northwest side there of Omaha. The models are really varying on how this is going to approach tomorrow. Some bring the activity all the way down to Louisville tomorrow morning, and then we really never get out of the rain. Therefore, a high of about 78 or 80. And the severe threat knocked down, more of a heavy rain potential. Some models don't have anything in our area until late tomorrow, and at that point, we're very hot most of the day. In fact, I think the Euro had us close to 100 degrees tomorrow for a high temperature. So what do you do in those scenarios when you have all these different models screaming at you? That's not uncommon. The best way to do it in those scenarios, especially in the short term, is look to see how they initialized. If the model, when the model starts updating, it sends out a new update itself online, the very first frame is where it says everything should be now. And if it's not where everything is at the moment when you check the radar, then you know that model is not exactly going to have the rest of the time frame correct. It's already off track. And that could be placement, that could be timing, it could be multiple things. Having looked at what I've looked at this morning, the Euro was too far north. It had everything way up in here for this morning period that was showing up on the Euro itself. The GFS actually was a little more to the south of Omaha. I'll try to get my pen to draw here in a second. Hopefully it'll kick in. Sorry. My pen's asleep here today. But anyway, south of Oklahoma is where the GFS was. The NAM is very close, but just a hair too far north is where the NAM had the idea. Okay, so now that it's working. Here was the Euro idea. This is the NAM idea. There's the GFS idea. The one that was the closest to where that MCV is our in-house RPM model. It seems to have the best handle. So I decided I'm going to lean toward that, showing you some of the data here, because if I try to show you the environmental setup on the NAM or GFS, it's pointless, considering they're not, I mean, they're close, don't get me wrong, but in this case, a few miles makes a big difference. Here is the RPM. Starting off today, we're fine. You see those little pop-ups of the warm front moving in. We get in the lower 90s, no big deal. All right, so then we continue on as we head into tomorrow morning. We'll start off with temperatures barely below 80 early in the day. There's the thunderstorm action moving in across Illinois and Indiana, but notice most of it stays just north of wave country through at least the morning commute. Then as we head throughout the day, it just shifts south, but because it takes a little longer to get to us, we have a chance to climb into the lower 90s. Right now we got a high of 88 for Louisville. If this trend continues with the RPM, and it continues to initialize really good, then we will likely have to raise our high temperature into the 90s tomorrow. Of course, that adds more fuel to the fire, if you will, as these thunderstorms move in. Then as we get into the afternoon hours, then we start to see the thunderstorms cross over. So notice they're in clusters. It's not one big squall line. That's not the setup we're facing. It's multiple waves, little clusters passing through. And the problem we're going to have as we get into tomorrow night is the cold front at the moment back here to Iowa is kind of got a slant to it. When we head into tomorrow evening, the front becomes parallel. Your severe weather tends to fade when you get a parallel front like that with the main flow west to east. But then you develop a whole other issue, and that is training of thunderstorm cells. If the front slows down, then you got these little multiple waves, one wave after another, tracking along it. Then you run into a flash flooding threat. And I think that's how this is going to play out. I think we're going to go from a severe weather potential late in the afternoon, and then as we into Thursday evening into about the overnight period, across Kentucky, it will be more of an issue of some flash flooding that could develop. So that's something to monitor carefully. Even as we into Friday morning, the other models have trended this way a bit more, I should say that, to really be slow, because we will have what we call an MCV form along the front later tonight, or tomorrow night, excuse me, a little low pressure, if you will. It'll move into West Virginia, and because of that development, they've been showing up in the models the past few runs. The shower activity may take a while to get out of here now on Friday, and the clouds certainly will. So we've added pretty much an overcast sky now for Friday, and we've raised the rain chance up slightly, but we want to see more agreement before we go any more on the rain chance for Friday, but just something as a heads up for you guys on that. As far as the severe weather parameters, with the wind shear certainly is going to be an issue as it approaches the area for tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be enough wind shear. It's not off the chart, but it's enough to produce some damaging wind gust. And notice that the wind shear pretty much becomes horizontal on the front as it becomes parallel as we head into Thursday night. That too will just add in the ability there for the training effect. As far as storm energy goes, tomorrow morning there's enough energy there that we'll have some lightning with some of those thunderstorms across Indiana. But notice what happens here. We begin to heat things up, and because all the activities in Indiana, where you see that little hole there in the Cape across the Wabash area, it's because it's raining at that time. But for our area closer to the Ohio River and south, we really begin to light up with instability. We're building up energy here. We keep building it up as we get into the late afternoon, into the evening hours, and then we'll shift a little more towards southwest Kentucky for the best wind damage potential there. So there's a lot to keep an eye on. Overall, we're going to trend it for a low rain chance for the morning period until we get a better agreement on how that's going to play out for us for southern Indiana. But I think it's going to be the afternoon hours where our severe weather potential will come into play before we get into flash flooding. Just keep in mind, we may have to raise those temperatures up into the 90s. Ryan and Kevin will have more on that later today.